Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com. Checky.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Got a busy day out in front of you. Busy day. Great Wednesday to you and yours. Pretty fired up to be with you today on this really smoking hot Wednesday as we continue to burn it up. Burn up the day, burn up the night. And at this point, I can't see a reason to put up a fight. So, Cinco, the great Sean Sinclair, welcome in. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Are you pumped right now?
I'm pumped for the show. I don't know if in general I'm pumped, but yeah, for the show I am.
Well, we're going to go into transfer portal world today and check in with a gentleman out of Virginia who's been on the show before. A gentleman who's really a terrific guy. He's been great to us in the past, who covers Virginia. And we're going to talk about Henry Ford. And we're also, Cinco, going to get into another guy that Tennessee's involved with, a pitcher. By the name of Blanco, a lefty from Virginia. And so we're gonna download a couple guys. That's gonna happen here in about 1 hour. In the meantime, Marky Boy Griffin is gonna be with us. Marky Boy has had an opportunity to see the Vols during the summer and has a few thoughts on the upcoming Tennessee basketball season. Joe Lenardi, as we noted today in the blog, has, Cinco, do you not love the bracketologist? He's moved the Vols up a line from a 3 seed to a 2 seed, from his May survey to his June survey. Now, if that isn't the dumbest thing in the world, I don't know what is, but hey, he gets paid to do that. Some would say my job's pretty dumb. People like John Adams might say that. I mean, you think of John... You think of John Adams?
It reminds me of these recruiting services that see football players in shorts and T-shirts and then move them from 3 stars to 5 stars. Or if you don't go to one of their camps, you go from a 5-star to a 4-star. Hello, George McIntyre.
Do you think these services, Cinco, overrate certain classes because, say, that it's monetarily beneficial for them because they've got a lot of subscribers from one school, or not? You think that sort of thing goes on as well?
Oh, it was proven that that did happen back in the day. There was a there were fellows. There was a assistant coach at one of our main competitors, third Saturday in October, and we'll just say his initials were Ronnie C. And it was absolutely shown that favoritism was given to schools like that to draw up more and more subscribers. So you don't have to question it. It's already been shown to have happened.
What happened to Ronnie Kittrell? I haven't heard his name in forever.
Don't know, but there was a whole thing. I think, in fact, the person in the industry may be still in there, but you don't have to guess about whether that's happened before. That's, I told you the story of a friend of mine. I won't say the name. Friend of mine coming out of high school was presented okay, so if you're a parent, you remember when your kids were in school, you were offered a number of packages for photographs.
Yep.
You could get this many 8x10s, this many for this amount. You could get this many for this amount. Yep. Whatever package you wanted came with a different price. My buddy was, and he showed me, my buddy was presented a number of different options about how you couldn't buy a 5-star rating, or they used to call it 10.0.
Yep.
You couldn't buy a rating, but you could increase your rating. You could have a picture in their newsletter. It's and a more detailed. You could a la carte how you wanted to be presented. Those things absolutely happened.
I sit here, right, and I'm looking at On3, okay, the football team rankings for recruiting right now, and they have Tennessee at 11 right now, and then I pop over to 247. And I'm looking at their team rankings. I'm just going to compare here because I'm just trying to get a feel for this. Both those services have Texas up there, and both of them now have Tennessee 11. 247 a couple weeks ago had the Vols in the 20s, but now they've jumped them to 11. So is Tennessee having, in your opinion, are they recruiting well enough, Sean? Is this well enough for you at this point?
I have concerns because if you are 11th, but second or third in your conference, I think that's telling. But if you're 11th in the country and rolling in at 8, you're barely in the top half of your conference.
Yeah, let me look
at
that.
And then when you seemingly have a lack of interest in supplementing that through the portal,
yes,
I don't. There's no waiver wire in college football. There's no picking guys free agents. I'm not. You said earlier in the week, where are the playmakers? I can't find them either.
There are 7 teams ahead of us.
I'm concerned. I'm no expert, but I've been watching this for over 30 years. Spent 3 years working in the recruiting office at UT. I have at least a surface level understanding of how this stuff works. And I'm a little bit wondering what's going on.
Exie is working on a special story for us for the blog, and he's heartily concerned. He says he can't figure out what's going on, the juice around it, or the lack thereof. But I thought I'd run that by you. The basketball team. Look, we give things an honest look here. Mark Griffin's going to join the good, the bad, and the ugly with the basketball team. When we continue, Mark Griffin joins the fray. Watson Brown later on in the hour. Some landmark stuff going on that we haven't talked about yet. I was waiting for Watson to get here to discuss it, particularly with Wisconsin filing a lawsuit against Miami for tampering. Will this stop the rating of these teams with each other's rosters, or did Miami just get sloppy? We'll talk about it with Watson Brown, and that'll be later on in the hour. And then Greg Madia coming up, top of next hour, a preview of Henry Blanco, and perhaps a pitcher that Tennessee's poaching around on. And I will tell you this, you're going to get another bang maybe later on today, maybe early tomorrow, but another bang around the Tennessee baseball program in terms of some transfer portal news. So watch for it. Just like we told you that some news was coming on Friday, I'm telling you again, a pop is getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to drop. It's getting ready to pop as we continue with more. And it will be Mark Griffin after this.
Are you searching for a great local coffee? I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds. You can buy our freshly roasted coffee online and support a good cause with every sip. Great coffee, greater causes. Visit our website today, gradeagrounds.com.
Your Smokies are back home this week, and you asked for it, so you got it. All You Can Eat Wednesdays is back. Pulled pork, hot dogs, Bush's baked beans, popcorn, chips, drinks, a ticket to the game. You get it all. Don't forget Thirsty Thursdays with half-off draft beers, and next weekend, we've got Medieval Night on Friday with Knights, Royals, and fireworks. Smokies Version Night and fireworks on Saturday with the first 2,000 fans receiving a free friendship bracelet. And come meet Flippy on Sunday. Grab your tickets now at smokiesbaseball.com.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Summer officially starts this month, and the last thing you want during sweltering heat is a broken air conditioner or HVAC system. That means it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe before extreme Tennessee temperatures arrive. Don't ignore the warning signs that your AC is struggling or nearing the end of its lifespan. And if you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limon. Muchas gracias, limon. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Get fired up, focus, and prepare. As now joining us, he fires me up, he focuses me, and he prepares me every time he's on here. And he really does prepare me. But he especially fires me up. And sometimes, he even, if you ask him, he even focuses me. I'll even look him in the eye when we're talking. Griff, how do you find any of that? Any of that and all that and the above? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, great, Tony. This time you're 100% spot on. So, yes.
The great Mark Griffin joining now. You will see him holding court at Lakeshore generally. He's walking around getting fit and tone, and I'm sitting there playing guitar. So one of us is in shape and one of us isn't. But nobody's walking around on a day like today, Griff, because it is smoking hot in East Tennessee. And there's a little something on tonight called the NBA Draft. Give me 3 reasons, Griff, to watch the NBA Draft. Give me a couple reasons to watch the NBA Draft tonight as we start here on your TLD Logistics Hotline.
Well, you know, Tony, I was thinking about this morning because I love the NBA Draft, but I always think, okay, how are they going to bring in viewers? What are these, heartfelt stories? Why do people tune in if you don't have, let's say, a key player that's going to get drafted? Of course, for the UT faithful, first of all, Chaz Lanier, stay up, second-round draft pick, projected from what I've read, I'm not an analyst, of course, but, 37 or 38 could be Detroit or San Antonio, which seems like would be a really good fit for him. So that'll give Tennessee fans a reason to hang in there. But if you're a Duke follower, to me, they're really going to blow this up tonight, Tony. It's going to be Duke and John Shire. 5 players are going to be drafted in these 2 rounds. And what's amazing is in the top 7, 3 players will get drafted. And that just kind of blew me away. Now, yes, they made it to the Final 4, but I'm thinking as a Duke fan, and you're like, your whole starting 5 gets drafted, wouldn't you think or expect if you were a Tennessee fan, you'd have to bring in a championship? So it's kind of, I guess, bittersweet. And especially when 3 of these players, the top 7, are all freshmen. Just to give you a little historical perspective, Tony, you have to go back to 2007 is the first time that 3 players were drafted in the top 10, and it was a record back then that tied 2006 where 5 were drafted in the first 2 rounds, and that was UConn. So UConn had 5 first 2 rounds. Florida, 2007. Of course, Florida won that championship, and if you remember, the days of Portland, Tennessee's own, from Portland, Corey Brewer, Noah, Joakim Noah, Al Horford, and, of course, Maribel's favorite, Lee Humphrey, who was not drafted but's had a great career after basketball. So a little history there. And I just want to see how they portray this evening. And then for people that follow the SEC, I mean, you're looking at 5 SEC players that are projected in the first round and 8 Tennessee opponents, which I wanted to really break that down because it looks at, how Tennessee schedules teams. You've got the kid from Baylor, VJ Edgecombe, is looking at number 3 pick. And then the 2 kids from Illinois that are both freshmen that are projected to go in the first round. But one other point too, Tony, I know I'm going on here, but it shows that the youth movement too with the NBA. 11 of the 13 that are so-called lottery picks will be freshmen. And then there's 1 sophomore that's Colin Murray Boyles from South Carolina that's projected right now at 12. So that kind of blew me away that 11 out of your 13 players are freshmen. And then you got 1 sophomore, and then the other player is German. I don't know how old he is, but he played a program called ULM, ULM. So youth movement. Local interest, Ace Bailey that you and I talked about briefly, went to McEachern in Atlanta, but it's got a Chattanooga background. So that'll be interesting to see where he goes, because for your followers, Tony, apparently his agency, and people around him were pretty much boycotting of where he was going to go and do his tryouts, and restricted where his movement is. Does that hurt him in the draft, or is it a great move by his aide to say, we have targeted these 2 or 3 NBA teams, and this is where we want him? So that's something else I'll be watching for, and he could be a top 5 pick. But the feel-good story, lastly, Tony, the feel-good story that I cannot wait to see, and I did some research today, is just shows you that NBA dreams, can be made. There's the gentleman, Cedric Clifford, who was only offered by 2 D3 schools out of high school. When he was a freshman at a D3 school, I think up in Oregon, they won 6 games. So who's watching this kid? He transfers to Eastern Washington, then goes to Washington State, plays 6 games, but he's going to get drafted in the first round. I just think that's an amazing story from someone that played in a D3 level and then persevered, kept working hard, played only 6 games, and had an injury, and is going to get drafted in the first round, Tony, based on how he did in Chicago with pre-draft camp and the scouts that have been really, admiring him and watching for his strengths. So that's the one that I'm really looking forward to, besides obviously Chaz Lanier get drafted.
If you can play and you can help a team, they're going to find you. I mean, they will find you. You'll have ample opportunity to be found. It's extremely difficult to play at that level. Those guys to play that level, you got to be really able to shoot the basketball. Griff, in your opinion, just put a number on it, your humble opinion. Where do we see our guy Lanier go? Because he doesn't have the high-end athletic ability that we saw out of that position with Tennessee last year. They would die to have a Lanier right now in that spot, Griff. But they swung and missed several times. We'll talk about that here momentarily. But where would you see a Lanier going in this draft?
Well, according to all the pundits, he's going to be one of the first 10 picks in the second round, which I think is about right. From what I've read, and Tony, obviously you and your crew and your listeners have broken down his game, inside and out. Is he going to be an NBA defender? If I really feel if he was a great defender, his stock would go up.
Oh yeah,
but he's got all what they call the measurables. They really focus now on how fast you can touch a freaking cone. I don't know what that has to do with putting the ball in the basket, but that's what people look at today, and how your wingspan but how do you measure heart? And that's one thing I think that he has going for him is a huge heart, very humble, hard worker. I think from what I've gathered being around the program, just really appreciates the game and the transition to SEC from coming from a small D1 school, which I think he sat 2 years. I know at least one, but he bided his time. I know when he was at Innsworth, I had never even heard of him, and maybe that's on me. But it's just, it's once again a great success story. I know he and his family and loved ones are going to be real excited, and especially, the UT faithful to see yet another UT basketball player get drafted under the Barnes era.
All right, let's move along here. So now we're at a spot where we're looking ahead. And they've done a curious thing. It used to be, Griff, when you played, guys would work out together in the summer and coaches would watch and pretend they weren't, but they would give guys drills to work on. And, we don't pretend anymore. This is like professional sports now. People are paid. In the case of Nate Ament, they're paid a lot. They're doing June team practice. Griff, first of all, give me just some overall takeaways before we get into some specific guys, but just some overall takeaways. Let's go athleticism of this group versus last year's team, because the function in the SEC, and by the way, the SEC, Mark talks about all these guys that are going to go in the first round tonight. An extraordinary number of playmakers are leaving the Southeastern Conference, not just the high picks, but the guys like the Laniers of the world, etc. It was an exceptional year in the SEC last year, where I want to say 13 of 16 teams made the SEC tournament. This year, somewhere around 10 or 11 are projected. So, and then you don't have the number of high-end guys and high-end teams this year that you've had in years past. But Griff, let's talk about it and just the overall athleticism of this bunch compared to last year.
Well, of course, my N is N of one day of practice, which I was fortunate to go to a closed practice. Media wasn't around, and it was really intense. Before I even get into that, Tony, what really blew me away was, and anyone around any type of basketball program knows that you plan before each practice and what you're going to execute and the drills, etc. But I just watch the spacing, even of the assistant coaches and Coach Barnes and where he stood when they were running half-court drills. And I was just amazed, Tony, how many freaking coaches are out on the basketball court these days. I mean, it's he's talking about back in the day, you had 3 coaches. So someone would, worked with the bigs, and then had the guards, and then you had your head coach. And now you've got graduate assistants that are trying to coach, and other personnel, and assistant coaches have their roles, and it seems like everyone is in your ear. And then I kept thinking, well, how's that going to make me feel as a player that every time I make a move laterally, someone's going to comment? So that was one of the bigger takeaways for me. But at the same time, you're coaching these kids up. So they're really paying attention to detail, which that, to me, is what the summer is about. I don't know how many years ago, Tony, they put NCAA put in where you could get summer practice, but it is limited. I think it's only 6 hours a week right now. Don't know the time span, but nonetheless, I was just blown away by that. But as far as the athleticism, I mean, it starts with Nate Ament, and amen to Ament. I mean, what a catch. And Tennessee fans are going to absolutely love this kid. I was just blown away by the maturation process of watching how he even conducted himself during practice. I mean, you and I have talked for years, Tony, about body language. Great body language guy. When he missed a shot, head didn't sink, shoulders didn't shrug, staring straight at the coaches when they got on him. Got a beautiful, beautiful left hand. I was blown away. And one-on-one, no one could stop this kid the whole day. No one. I was blown away. And of course, he's got all the hype, but he delivered, and he just really carried himself really well. What a catch for UT. Now, on the flip side of that, and I know we'll talk about this, but if I'm defending Tennessee, the scouting report's going to be stop Ament, because what is going to have to happen during this summer, and some of these players are going to have to step up, Tony, is some three-point shooting. And that's my biggest concern, is consistent three-point shooters. Who is going to be the guy or the guys that are going to step it up? Because when you're going to see this, they're going to push on Ament. He's a thin guy. They list him at 6'9", 190. He looks skinnier than that. Now, he'll put on 10 pounds between now and November of strength, especially. But that's who you're going to go after. That was a big takeaway. But as far as athletes, comparing them to last year, right now it's kind of difficult to compare. You hope that you see improvement in the athleticism. There are several guys that really stood out as great athletes to me. Jacoby from Greenville, and I'll butcher his last name, Gillespie, help me out, Tony.
Gillespie, yeah, the Gillespie kid,
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As far as great athlete, I think he definitely personifies a great athlete. He was more, I looked at him like floor leader. I hate to call him the Kai Ziegler version 2 because of our love for Ziegler is really going to be hard to match. But he really took control of the practice, being a floor leader. I mean, it's just like it's stamped that the ball is going to be in his hands, and I felt really comfortable watching him control practice. He drives really well, but you're like, okay, if you're going to drive, how are you going to get the shots? Will he be able to adapt to the defense to be able to shoot an open three as well as drive? But he's going to be a really good matchup concern. And he is 6'1". Ziegler was a lot shorter, obviously, so there is going to be some matchup concerns there. To me, the best athlete guard-wise was Amari Evans. This kid is, man, I don't want to compare him to Meshack as a freshman, but the toughness, his nose was on that ball the entire time defensively. Really loved his athleticism. And another thing that really stood out to me, Tony, was the bigs. I don't know, when you look at the history of UT big guys, how many big bodies have they really carried over the years? When looking at Jalen Carey, I mean, he's listed at 265, but he's just a big bull. And he was limited in practice.
Yep, they got to get him in shape. What I hear, Griff, is they have to get him in shape. Yeah.
So they were working on the other end. Usually in practice, a lot of half court sets and just repetitive play calling and movement. And Carey was on the other end, and they were working on just drills with him and shooting. But Dwayne Brown, huge. Now, he's got a little ways to go, but they're going to be patient with him. Big body, though, and I thought he had good feet. Now, Cade Phillips was not there. He's on some, ball leaders program. I was impressed with Estrella. I'd read that they're really taking it slow with him.
Yes.
But, I mean, he was doing everything, Tony. He was in there the whole time. So
that's a great sign.
Yeah, was it the first day? I mean, I'm not trying to give away any secrets that's not out there, but I guess could be. He practiced the whole time.
Wow.
And what I was really impressed with Estrella, and I didn't realize he's got really long arms. Now, I still think he's offensively challenged, if that's the word I can use. But his body stance defensively, great as far as keeping low and knees bent, what we call staying in a stance. Didn't seem to be fatigued when I watched. And I was just really impressed with him as far as their bigs. Now, Okporo got hit in the eye, so he wasn't playing as much, but loved his build. And you know what you're getting with him.
Yes.
I think it's going to be pretty much par the course, as far as blocking shots and rebounds and, maybe give you 6 to 8 points a game. And I think that's fine because Carey's really going to be able to come in and step in and have if they want to go big with Okporo and Estrella and then run Carey in and out. Because think about it, last year Carey, he averaged, people are going to look and go, we only average 8 points a game. Well, he played 20 minutes a game. And his 2 career high-scoring games were 18 points, both against UT.
No doubt. And they like him. The thing on him, Griff, that I hear is he's got to get in shape. I want to ask you about another guy, though, because, Barnes has done a really nice job of identifying, his staff has, and they've been of identifying guys that grow in their deal. And they think they've got a real find in this Dwayne Brown kid from Hoover, Alabama. Now, he's a freshman. They can't believe some of the things he can do. And I wonder if you noticed him, if he stood out to you at all, because they think this kid's going to play right away, and they thought they were getting a developmental piece with him. But they think now that he's far enough advanced, he's going to play right away in an already crowded front line.
He did look more athletic than I thought, as far as movement and what I saw. Really good job of defending with his, lower body, because big guys like to lean, and you see that especially when you get tired, you lean on offensive players. But he was able to really maneuver himself with his leg strength. Offensively, once again, a little limited, but. If you're 4 feet from the basket, you got to be able to score. I mean, they're not going to expect him to step out and shoot 15-footers. But I think that with the depth of the big guys is really going to push this team on the inside. Now, will UT and Barnes change their philosophy to be an inside team? I don't see that. As I don't see it to be their number one option, but I do think that you'll see it more than you've had in the past, with Ament he's going to be your number one option. He better be your number one option. Of course, defense is going to try to take that away. And I do think that they're going to be able to go inside more, which, if you think about it, Tony, if you go inside more, you're going to be more prone to get fouled, to go to the free throw line. And a lot of these guys that are new additions are really good free throw shooters. And I hadn't even talked about Amari Abram. It's fourth school in 4 years for whatever reason, but I did look him up. He shot over 84% at La Tech. So you got another good, really good knockdown free throw shooter that could have the ball in his hands at the end of a game. And I think you'll see a lot more of that this year, pounding inside, getting to the free throw line. And then someone's just going to have to step up and be a consistent free throw shooter. I'm sorry, three-point shooter. Tony.
That's the question, yep. This team, like a lot of Barnes' teams in the past, because they didn't get that home run hitter, they swung and missed on the McNeely kid from Virginia I know you loved. There were a couple other guys they got close with. The Rice kid, who was Gillespie's roommate at Maryland. He got kind of bought right out from under them. They didn't anticipate that happening after a great visit. And so you kind of make do with what you have. But the question becomes, and I ask you this on the way out, do you think they have enough outside shooting, Griff, to go far?
That's going to be the big question, Tony. And one practice, I didn't see it, but did they focus as much on the perimeter game? No. So I didn't get to really get a good breakdown of the wing shooters and drills to say, hey, wow, this guy's really consistent like I did, in the past when I've watched practice. They were just really just going at it and banging in a very controlled type practice. So that'll be to be continued, but it will be something that I know you'll be talking about a lot during this season, because that's going to be one of the biggest keys is perimeter shooting, because they've got everything else, I think, right now to really contend. Now, there's some other obviously very strong teams in the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
In which, we haven't addressed, but definitely a very formidable team this season, and I think one that the Tennessee fans are going to be very excited to watch. And it does start with Nate. Amen, man. Amen. Thank God he's there.
Griff, you're my man. I love you. Incredible job. Anything else you'd care to add on the way out?
No, thanks, Tony, and good luck in your music, and I hope to see you soon.
Peace. The great Mark Griffin. And good luck tonight to Lanier. And let's get another surprise Vol up there drafted tonight. What do you say? Maybe somebody fell in love with somebody. Who knows? In the meantime, let's go back to the phones. 865-200-5402. Cinco, it sounds like Tennessee basketball is poised for another great year over at tclub.team today. We talk about KenPom releasing his top programs in college basketball. Vols are number 13 in the KenPom era, according to him, which is 13th most attractive job in America if the job opened. They're like 4 or 5 slots ahead of Louisville, Cinco. This is a great basketball job, Sean.
Well, congrats. Again, I've got to tell him myself, I was highly suspicious of Rick Barnes early on. I was converted, and he's made us a perennial big-time program. It's, hopefully, it seems that only a few teams can cover every base. Duke, maybe a couple of others. They can get the 3-point, they can get the size, they can get the inside game, they can get the point guard every single time. Hopefully, this is a combination that works for us. I really like the fact that they have several inside options. I think that has cost us late in the tournament. And so I'm excited by what Griff has to say.
How good are the evals of Tony Vitello? This Moore guy that led us to the Natty is going off at the major league level. Going off. Chase Burns last night looked like a young Dontrell Willis out there for a couple of innings. And, of course, the Reds misplayed a ball in the outfielder. He only gives up a run last night to Bino's Yankees and probably is in line for the win there. But he's playing on a poor team. I know the Reds, you're going to tell me they've won, 13 of 18, whatever. Okay, yeah, whatever gets you through the night. But he's going to be a nice pitcher. Hey, Cinco, this guy's evaluations are, he's off the charts as a player evaluator.
He always has been. His special skill was able to find guys, whether it's TCU, whether it was Arkansas, Missouri, wherever, his superpower was always finding guys that were very talented, but just were not, for whatever reason, vulnerable to the draft. You get guys in here. Everyone can pick out the incredible player, but he had that. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this coming draft, because this is the first draft class that looks like, with all due respect, one of Vandy's classes, where you're
going to get picked
you're
apart.
hoping they don't take the top half of your class away.
Yep. But you know what, Sean? This guy here knows how to find them. And they know how to develop them. That's the other thing. It's really impressive about what Tony Vitello's done here. And on that note, because look, this Christian Moore guy, I mean, he's just not from your planet. He's just not. I mean,
from the same class. Brady House just got called up.
There you go.
So that was two different paths, and they were both called up within the same, within days of each other. House took the pro route out of high school. Moore took the UT route, and they, each one of them just got called up in the same week.
And identifying these guys is like it's a superpower. I mean, let's bring Watson Brown in. It's a Wednesday with the great Watson Brown. When you can eval and you can develop, I don't care what sport you're playing. I don't care what you're trying to do. I don't care if it's college, pro, high school, biddy ball league, whatever it is. Hey, Watson Brown, when you can eval and you can develop players, you're going to win a lot of games, my friend, as I bring you in against the backdrop that it's a really smoking hot Wednesday, and I hope you're taking care of yourself.
Yes, and good to talk to you guys. And I think the poorer the job you take, the better evaluator you got to be, because you just don't get that top guy that is a non-evaluator. I mean, it's a very simple. You know how good that guy is, and so you have to evaluate on the 50 down type jobs where you're the bottom half of a league. You better be a good evaluator and you better be a good developer, or you're not going to last long.
What's interesting about Tony is that he's in a spot here where he's not at one of the richer baseball programs. The Arkansas of the world in free agency have more money than him. The LSUs of the world have more money than him. Like LSU, every time Tennessee, it seems like, goes head-to-head for one of these high-ticket guys, whether it's a Paul Skeens, whether it's a Tommy Tanks out of Michigan, out of NC State. Sean, help me out. They've gone head-to-head with LSU on guys. The Holman kid. Yeah, that's another good one. Holman. LSU wins. They have deeper pockets, so you better be able to eval, and you better be able to develop. And Watson Brown joins, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats, who raises and sources their meats from farms on pastures on purpose, comfortably continuing a tradition that began way back in 1888 on Jim Simpson's family farm. And whether it's steaks or burgers or sausages or roast or chicken, variety of local offerings at their butcher shop, from milk, honey, jam, eggs, and more. And also, they can ship anywhere in the world their premium meats to you. Simpsonsmeats.com. Check out their store, West Knoxville, off Level Road, and shop there today. A beef brand built on quality. Watson, it finally happened. And I know you've looked into this, but Wisconsin is suing Miami for poaching a player, for, in their words, tampering with a player on their roster. And they're taking them to court over it, Watson. They're suing them. Why is it taking till now, do you feel like, for this to happen?
I don't know, but it's the smartest thing I've heard. You got no chance through the NC2A, and this new commission they're going to put together is a ways away. I mean, so you're going to sit there and just keep letting them do this to you? This is the only route you've got to go. And again, Tony, money speaks, and the courtroom speaks. We see that in college athletics. So I think it's a very smart thing to do. And is it going to slow anything down? No, because the way all these people are doing this, it's agent work. All these agents know each other. And so this agent will call this agent and say, hey, someone in Miami will pay him this if he'll come out. So these things are done deals before they ever happen. I'm not saying Miami did it or not. I'm just use that as an example.
They all do
but it's so easy. It's so easy
Yes.
to do. Everybody thinks this is the kid and parents. It's not. The parents talking to the agent, the kid's talking to the agent, but the agent's making the call. And he's not making the call to the kid. He's making the call to the agent of that kid. And if they don't come up with some form of free agency like the NFL's got, this will never get better. It'll get worse. It'll get cloudier and cloudier. It'll get. You talking about Wild West? It's just going to get worse.
Wisconsin's got to feel like they've got to feel like they've got a paper trail, right, Watson? How else could they do this unless they could prove it, right?
They've got to have a paper trail, or they've got somebody that's spilling the beans in an office, in an agent's office, or something. They've got to have a paper trail, and it's a lot. The one way that the way SMU got caught, it was the kid. The kid got mad and left and turned SMU in. And you might start seeing some of that as time goes on. So I don't know, but something's got to give here. But I think Wisconsin's smart as they can be, especially if they've got a reason to go to court, meaning you've got documentation or witness, whatever it's going to take. I don't blame them at all. I think that's about the only route you can go other than publicly fuss about it. What good's that do?
And Cinco, it's kind of ironic because we know that Miami sort of got involved with Nico in December, or did Nico get involved with Miami? Now you have to rethink that because inevitably the coach at Oregon's the one that was looking out for Tennessee and said, hey, they're shopping this kid on the West Coast. We now know that. We reported that in real time, but we now know that's the fact. Cinco, from your perspective, what do you make of this?
I just don't know. It sounds good, but I think it's just an open market. Any kid can transfer. Any natural student can transfer any school he wants if they're willing to accept them at any time they want. Coach brings up a great point that it's made through the agents. The only way you're going to get any of this cleared up is collective bargaining. And for whatever reason, and it must be financial, the schools don't want to do that.
You know, Watson, Sean brings that up. George Plaster brought something up to me yesterday on his program where I appear on Tuesdays, and he said, you know, if these schools start suing each other, this will get really expensive really quickly, which I'm back to this. The people that are winning in this era are attorneys. And, you know, Watson, he's right. If they start suing each other, that might be something that really speeds up us getting to collective bargaining, which is what Danny White and Donde Plowman at Tennessee are saying out loud. It's the only solution here. Maybe these schools suing each other will help, Watson.
I think it will, because it's the only avenue they got, and they're willing to spend the money because they're making money, and don't think there's not outside money helping pay for this. This ain't all University of Wisconsin paying these lawyers on this. I can promise you that. And I was reading about Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. And what they've done with their softball, and now they're doing it in football. They've got one or two dudes that are throwing unbelievable amount of money into NIL. Unbelievable. I said this to you all a year ago, and it's come to tuition. If you've got money now, being a poor school as far as wins and losses through all these years and having no tradition means nothing anymore. If you've got money, you got possibilities, man. And now you can talk to kids you've never been able to talk to before. And that's why you're going to see many, many more Indianas. I don't know that they'll stay there, but they're going to pop up and have this year and then have another year here and there because it's year to year. And if you come up with enough money, you can pull it off. I mean, Texas Tech pays a pitcher $1 million in softball.
Yep.
They play for the national championship. And now they've come up with all kind of money. They brought in kids from everywhere. And they're going to be right there playing Oklahoma again. It's going to happen. And you got money, you got a shot. If you got money and you got a good coaching staff, some games and keep you in games and not lose games, and keep your locker room solid and not let it go crazy, you're going to win games.
Hey,
you're
Watson,
going to win games.
The Lady Vol third baseman, who's a great player, Karen Weekly came out, was highly upset at the way Texas Tech tampered with her while she was on her roster. Publicly said it out loud. My understanding is, well, check this out. Lady Vols offered her like $25,000, and Texas Tech said, "Here's $700,000." Now, where are you going? You tell me. Where are you going?
Oh, that is the number one decision maker now.
And she was happy
that's
here.
What I talk to you all about all the time is now all of a sudden the T on the side of that helmet does not mean near as much.
Sad.
And that really, really bothers me. And I saw where Vanderbilt and Tennessee are fighting for a kid. Didn't happen very often, an in-state kid.
Yes.
And one of his big comments was, well, money matters. NIL matters. So that tells me Vanderbilt's throwing it out there. They're throwing it out there if they're right in the middle of that deal. So money is the deal now. It's you have your best shot to win at poor programs that you've better than you've ever had in the history of those schools, because money now puts you up with the big boys, and that crimson helmet now is not near as important against the so and so's helmet that's been in the bottom half forever, because money can overtake that, and I don't think that's going to change. The money will not change. The only way the money stops, Tony and Sean, is if these guys get tired of paying it.
Did you guys, hey, Cinco,
if they're paying it and you're not winning, they're going to get tired of paying it.
Cinco, did you see this? Well, check this out. The story about the kid who was committed to LSU, the quarterback, who's now going to start at Michigan this year as a true freshman. The story is this. The Oracle, the guy that founded Oracle's, in his 70s, he's got like a girlfriend that's 25 years old, okay?
Larry Ellison.
You can't make this up. She says to him, "Hey, honey, we really need a quarterback at Michigan." "You do, sweetie? You do?" Well, who do you want?" "Well, I want us to go get this guy who's committed to LSU." Now, you're Brian Kelly. You're sitting there minding your own business, okay? You got this kid committed. He's been committed to you for a while. You've already got a sweet NIL deal with him. Watson, they went in there with the guy that owns Barstool and bought that kid right out from under LSU. I mean, that is and it wasn't because of anything that LSU did or didn't do. I mean, this 25-year-old girl batted her eyes, this is the truth now, at this Ellison guy, and he flashed the cash to make her happy, and that's where we are now, Watson. I mean, this is getting kind of disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've always had kids back out of commitments, but not like that, not in the numbers you see now. And what's happening is, and I'm not complaining about it. I did it myself. I committed to Alabama, backed out, and went to Vanderbilt. So I'm not going there. But what I'm saying is, it becomes a bidding war, Tony. So you've committed to here. Then somebody finds out what the amount was, and the way you get him to back out of that commitment is you throw more money at him. So it becomes a bidding war. And I just don't like that piece, but that's where we are, and it's not going to change anytime soon. You better quit worrying about trying to figure out the NIL, and you better come up with a way to stop this transfer portal and slow these kids, make it to where they can't transfer the way they are. That's the way to slow this thing down. And with the high school kids in the bidding war, that ain't going to change. But we've had that in our business forever. That's why I say we're just going back to where we were before. We've had this in our business forever. The way you were able to, you pay a kid under the table and say he's working for you. And, well, now you can legally pay him, say he's working for you. So we're just going back to where we were, except now it's a legal thing to do.
Sean, do they close this loophole this spring portal loophole, you think? Because they're talking about that. Can they get away with that, you think, Sean?
I think they can get away with it. I mean, if you can do it via, I believe the SEC conference has that within, meaning that you can't transfer within the conference after, at the spring portal in football.
Yep.
I believe that's right. And be eligible. So,
yep.
but however, that may just be a participation thing saying, hey, all of us guys and girls, whatever, we all agree that we're not going to do this. And then, it may, whether it's a court issue or not, it's still a quote unquote club issue. And it's a gentleman's or ladies' agreement that they're going to do that. But I would think so.
Watson, that's the one thing, this thing that happened to Tennessee in the spring, losing your quarterback. I mean, in that sport, that just can't happen. If you're going to have a legitimate sport, you shouldn't be able to pick a quarterback off somebody's roster and then you flip these teams around. Because really, we were talking about this yesterday, and you mentioned this last week, the kids think you're really helping them. Like Nico and his family, they think they won. There's no way that guy's going to develop. No way. He's having a goofy career now. He's in a greater position or greater chance that he slides into anonymity, that he becomes a star NFL player at this point.
I agree, because he's gone to a team that's not as good, and he's having to learn a brand new system that he'd been in for two years and 1 full year of starting in that system. And so, and less money. So I don't know how in the world you can say that's a better deal. The only thing I saw is he got back on the West Coast where he was from. And I don't know that was really even in the equation, even though I did hear from like the Oregon guys saying we're shopping him around back out west again.
Sorry, Coach. Without being able to see, I don't know where you start and stop. But my question to you is, we talked about this earlier. I'm not here to run Nico down. I really don't care. He can have a great career or stumble. Whatever is good for him is fine with me. He's not involved now. But we were talking about earlier about the proliferation of these camps. It's essentially flag football. All like what we all played in our yard or on the street or whatever. When you were a coach, or you're a coach now, rankings are now established by shorts and t-shirt football. We saw Nico, again, not here to run him down, I swear. He was an all-star when he was in pajama pants and a t-shirt, throwing to guys that couldn't touch him. You get on the field, it didn't really translate. How, as the head coach, are you able to sift out what's real football, what's combine football, and how do you, as a professional, think about those things?
You just nail me, buddy. That's been my pet peeve for years and years and years. And all these schools made me have to do it too. But you have to take them too early now, because everybody's offering so early, Sean. And so you're offering them scholarships before they're even halfway developed a lot of times. And number one. Number two, you're offering them scholarships in shorts, for God's sakes. That's not football. I can tell you the difference in high school football in pads and college football in pads was night and day for me. Night and day. I go to Vanderbilt as a freshman, I'm throwing it all over the yard. But all of a sudden now, when I get to put out there with pads on against good players on the other side, it's a different world, man. And you to be able to sit in there and let the ball go and slide in a pocket and all the things that happen to a quarterback that don't happen in shorts, for God's sakes. I mean, I used to say, Sean, when I was coaching, if we didn't complete 90% of our passes in these pass skills and shorts, we ain't worth a flip. We'd come in and my coordinators or my people would say, well, Coach, today we're pretty good. We complete. I said, that ain't good. You got nobody in your quarterback's face, man. You don't have anything taking the timing away from where he's throwing. And so, no, I don't know how these schools do it. But once you started offering early and you had to watch them in camps, you're taking a big chance.
Hey, Watson.
I had a coach very close to me. I'll finish with this, Tony. I had a coach very close to me that said, I've made a lot of mistakes because I've taken these kids out of these camps early. And I've made too many mistakes. I'll never admit that publicly, but I've made way too many mistakes. And I'm at a school you don't need to make mistakes because you can pick who you want. And yet he told me that. So no, don't get me started on that, Sean. That's probably my biggest pet peeve in the business.
Well, and here's the other thing. Let's take a quick legal here. Quick legal.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Watson Brown joining. It's a Wednesday with Watson, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. Remember, online at simpsonsmeats.com. Steaks make a great gift. Gift boxes available. You want to light it up in the summer. You got July 4 coming up. Guys, listen to me. Simpson's Meats, Simpson's Meats, Simpson's Meats. Go check them out. Tell them we sent you. Whether it's steaks, burgers, sausages, roast chicken, they've got it. And it is a brand built on quality. Watson, people ask me, somebody asked me yesterday, give me an update on Joey football, Joey Aguilar. When I make phone calls about Joey Aguilar, I say, Tony, what do you want me to say? He's throwing against air. I was told we're really not going to know till we play a real football game against somebody that can play, what this guy is, who this guy is, and then how do you determine how much of the offense that he knows in camp when Sean and Watson, you don't hit like you once did. These guys might get exposed to getting tackled to the ground maybe one time in the summer, if at all. Back in the day, Watson. Watson, what would happen back in the day, Watson? What would happen back in the day, Watson, to that quarter? You'd break him in, right?
Yeah, you didn't protect the quarterback like we do today's game, and you nearly have to. You cannot. Yep. The offenses have become so much more quarterback-oriented, Tony. So now you treat him kind of like a pitcher. You better be careful with him, and don't think, because I'm telling you, I know. Don't think that quarterback doesn't know in practice. It's live around him, but he's got on a different color shirt for a reason.
Of course,
and he knows he's not getting touched. And that's still a different world, even though he's going in pads. It's a different world till you get knocked down, until you get up again. I told you the story about me going to Michigan in my first game, and I take off scrambling. Nobody could ever catch me. Well, all of a sudden, I take off scrambling. This 6'5", 270-pound kid flat out runs and pulls me down, flips me to the ground, and I won't tell you what he said to me, but I learned real quick, like, this is a different world, boys. And so, yeah, I don't know how anybody could say how he's doing. All you can do is go back and look at his films from what he's done in games before. But even that, he's playing against different competition now, and he's in a total different offense. So you just got to wait and let him play. He's got to get it done come game day. And that's one thing I really have always defended Josh on, is he's very good at developing quarterbacks. And one way that he knows how far to take them within his system. He knows how far they can go. And I think that's a trait that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, they pulled back the reins on Nico last year when they realized what he was.
Did it with Hendon Hooker.
Yeah,
that's right. Same thing with Hendon Hooker.
That's right.
The first year he played, he looked like a different guy and was doing a lot more complicated stuff by his second year.
Watson, you're my man. I love you. My best to you and yours, and hopefully you're not outside playing golf today.
No, but I did yesterday.
What?
Yes, sir, buddy.
It's a million outside.
Wet when it was over. I was soaking wet when it was over. But I love it.
You're a better man than I am.
I fuss about cold weather, so I have no gripes when it comes to being too hot. I can't fuss then, because I'm going to tell you, I fuss all winter when it's cold.
You're my man, Watson. I love you.
Love you guys. See y'all.
Thank you, brother. He got through today without saying screw one time, Cinco. I did not do my job. It's an outrage. It's an outrage. When we come back, Tennessee is looking at, well, they already got the number one player in the portal from Virginia in Henry Ford, and they're looking at a pitcher from that SKU. And so we're going to, on the other side, visit with Greg Madia, who's going to join us. Give us the lowdown on those two guys, because Virginia is getting rated. It's getting rated as we continue with more, and he said he'll be glad to come on and break it down scientifically, and we'll do that. And then we'll get in some calls later on in the hour. So if you've been hanging on, know you're going to be hanging on. And as we say in the trade, and I didn't do it, as we continue after this.
Are you searching for a great local coffee? I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds. You can buy our freshly roasted coffee online and support a good cause with every sip. Great coffee, greater causes. Visit our website today, gradeagrounds.com.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our trials last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime, online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible. Oh, Coach Vitello jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean No job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View Magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high-character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Chilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair. And they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms. And I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Tony B back with you. Let me go now live to a guy that's going to give us a look-see at what could be in Tennessee's future. Greg Madia joining. He is a Virginia beat writer with the Daily Progress. He also gets a vote in the Heisman Trophy race. He's also an AP Top 25 voter. He's also a Brunswick, Jersey native, and he happens to be a loyal fan of the Metropolitans, who right now they would have the Braves and then Daddy under them. The Braves are like owning the Mets right now. Hey, Greg, have the Mets lost like 10 of their last 11 games, or am I imagining that?
No, you're spot on, Tony. It's bad. I mean, it's a disaster right now in Flushing, Queens for the Mets. I mean, it's just not been good. They were swept by Tampa earlier this month, and since then it's just been bad. The Braves always beat up on the Mets. That's going back to my childhood when Chipper Jones, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, and Andrew Jones and Javi Lopez. Like, those guys were just beating the Mets, night in and night out. So it's not surprising the Braves are really the team doing it again to my poor Mets.
So there's a transition at Virginia. You're not going to keep your players during a transition. You hope to keep them, but this is an era where people are going to buy people off your roster. Tennessee is extremely active in the transfer portal right now. They've let, I want to say 15 pitchers alone go off their roster from last year. And these rosters have been bloated since COVID. And now everybody's got to get down to 34. Before I ask you about Henry Ford, let me ask you about a name that's kind of was sort of brought on to our Ben McKee, who covers recruiting very closely with the 247 group here in town, does a great job. He mentioned a kid named Blanco from Virginia. Can you share with us what you know about him and if it would be reality that a Tennessee could be involved with a kid like him?
Man, he was really good, Tony, for Virginia in 2024. They don't get to the College World Series in 24 unless Evan Blanco emerges into the top pitcher in their rotation. And he was a guy that kind of was an afterthought going into 24. You thought maybe left-handed reliever, maybe you can give him some long relief going into 2024. And he ended up being their best pitcher in 2024. He was excellent left-hander. He's not very tall, but he threw the ball. He threw the ball extremely well that season. 8-3 that year, sub-4 ERA. I think 3.6, 3.7, something along those lines. And he was a guy who, at first, you could see he was going to throw strikes. He wasn't going to walk a lot of people. He was just going to get the ball over the plate, mix his pitches well, and be very, very tough to hit, right? Not overpowering fastball, but he'd mix in the changeup, breaking ball, and he'd be really, really difficult to hit. He ended up being their top guy. He pitched well in the postseason. He'd been to Mississippi State and even earlier, and even into the next round against Kansas State. Pitched well against North Carolina in Omaha. Just came up on the short end when the offense didn't really hit in that game. So to me, if Tennessee could land him, and of course he's got the draft as an option, right? He's coming off a down year though, so it probably benefit him leverage, some potential opportunities in the SEC against the draft. He was behind the 8 ball a little bit this year. Had a setback in the preseason, which pushed his season debut back, and he just didn't perform as well this past spring. So maybe he's looking at a situation where it could benefit him to get somewhere else and bounce back and maybe improve his stock a little bit.
Very, very interesting stuff as we visit with Greg Madia, who covers Virginia with your Charlottesville Daily Progress. And if you look at Greg's Twitter feed, he's got tons and tons of baseball. He's very steeped in the transfer portal as Virginia looks to rebuild their team after a coaching change, losing their longtime skipper to Mississippi State, who took a huge money deal. Let's talk about Henry Blanco for a second. Your thoughts? Or I'm not Blanco. I'm sorry, Henry Ford. My bad. I'm mixing my guys now. I'm mixing and matching over here. It all runs together. I feel punch drunk in here. I know you do as well, covering this stuff. But the Ford kid's another one that had a great year 2 years ago, and then last year his power numbers went down. How concerned? Because Tennessee feels like he's gonna get here. They don't think the major leagues are gonna or professional baseball rather, is going to take him highly. Do you share in that as well?
Yeah, I think he'd probably benefit from another year in college, unless there's a team out there, major league franchise, that's willing to just throw a bunch of money at him and see what happens, right? Unless somebody's going to guarantee him that. If he gets to Tennessee, I think that's a great addition for the Volunteers, right? He can play first base and he can play the outfield. And the thought was, because he played first base mostly in 24, the thought last summer and last fall at Virginia was, and Brian O'Connor, the former Virginia coach, had told me this, was that they thought he profiled more like, the corner outfielder. I think the quote was, if I'm remembering correctly, the corner outfielders in the Bronx. The 6'7", Aaron Judge, that type of profile, big-bodied, athletic, great swing, going to hit for power. They thought that was the right move for him and his future in professional baseball, was to move him off first base and get him into the outfield. He's 6'5", 225 pounds. And while the power numbers dipped, he still hit for average this year. And I'm pretty sure he led Virginia. I have to go back and look at the stats. But he was one of Virginia's most consistent hitters this past season. I think 360 average, maybe first or second on the team. Either him or Eric Becker, who decided to return to Virginia. But Ford, he can absolutely swing it. I've seen him hit some really long home runs. And Disharoon Park, where Virginia plays, it's not the easiest place to hit home runs. The ball, especially early in the season, like those February, March games, when it's 45 or 50 degrees out, the ball does not jump. And they were, and that really the whole team started slow for Virginia this year, and Ford was part of that group. That said, he's still one of their best players. And if he can find that 2024 form again with the power to kind of complement what he did average-wise this year, he's going to be a force, and he'll be more in the draft conversation again. He had 17 home runs in 24, which was a Virginia freshman record, and only 11 this year. But still drove in runs, still was on base plenty. But yeah, you'd like to see the power numbers up a little bit more. I'm sure if you're the pro ranks looking at Henry Ford.
So Blanco and Ford, do you think inevitably those guys are gobbled up? Which one is more likely to get gobbled up if you had to choose between the two?
Yeah, I think it's probably Ford, right? Because just look at the profile. 6'5", 230 power, 225, 230, powerful. He's got both him and Blanco have great, character traits. They're well spoken, great, hardworking kids. Had heard nothing but great things behind the scenes about the type of people they were. So they, when they get in the pro setting, it's not like they won't be able to, find their way to success, even if their draft stock isn't at its highest point right now. I think Ford, you just look at the size and the strength, and somebody, it wouldn't be stunning if somebody, bid on that and decided, let's offer him more money. But it's so competitive now, and those kids really have, the advantageous spot to be in with deciding on NIL opportunities versus what the pros can pay them, and what they could get in the future. So that's the decision those kids have to make, whether it's Ford, Blanco, or anybody else. Blanco's a junior, just finished his junior season, so there's a little less leverage there because, if he goes elsewhere, you got to play out next season and end up where you end up in the draft. Whereas Ford, he only finished his sophomore season, so he can do this again next year and try to leverage. So that's the big difference with him being a draft eligible sophomore. He's in a good spot.
Greg, you're my man. If folks want to read your work or follow along, how do they do so? And I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate your time.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, you can follow just at Greg Madia on Twitter and then dailyprogress.com. I probably wrote about Henry Ford. He's a Charlottesville kid, right? Grew up in Charlottesville. The whole thing where he played in the local little league and ended up becoming a star for UVA. So I've probably written about Henry Ford the last 2 years more than any player on Virginia's roster. But it's interesting. It's just the way it goes. The UVA fans will miss them, and whoever gets them, whether it's Tennessee or pro franchise, be happy to have them.
Well, it's fun. I'll tell you a funny story. My son's lovely girlfriend was over here over the weekend, and we're kind of grilling out, hanging out, and talking. And I looked there and I said, "Hey, Tennessee has got a commitment from Henry Ford." And she said, "Really?" She said, "He's from Charlottesville." I said, No. He played high school ball in Chattanooga." She just kind of looked at me like, "Okay, whatever. You're an idiot." Because he did play. I thought he was a Chattanooga kid. But she just kind of looked at me and said, "No, actually, he grew up in Charlottesville." And I was arguing with her. She's a Virginia fan, a Virginia graduate. Her family is Virginia season ticket holders. And she basically looked at me like, "Okay, you do this for a living. You're wrong. I'm right. And I'm not even going to push it on you." So, Greg, after the fact, I'm sitting here going, but she did say, because she's a kind of a big sports fan, she said, if they get him, she said, he could be a real force in that little ballpark Tennessee plays in.
Yeah, he could be a star there. I mean, the way Tennessee fans are, they'll love. Just knowing Tennessee, having for the Tennessee fan base a little bit. It's like, they'll appreciate his humble, workmanlike approach. And when you see the power in person, it's impressive. Those Tennessee fans will love him if he ends up there and plays for them, hits home runs, and is the player he's been at Virginia. They'll love him.
Thank you, my man. Hey, great talking to you.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me, Tony. Take care.
Much love to you. And I would say good luck to your Mets, but I don't mean that. So, Sean Sinclair, Tony Vols and this program right now in this recruiting, they're in we're not playing around mode, aren't they? I mean, just the whole tone and tenor of this thing as they look to get to their 34 scholarships. They're going at this thing, I want to say, with the intensity of 1,000 armies, man.
Man, I knew he was competitive. I knew he was ultra competitive. But this is just at another level. And I have nothing but love for all the players that are moving on. I hope they, like I said with Nico, I hope they have great careers and find their way to their dreams. But I think that not only is he trying to reach 34, I think he's taking this as a way to just clean things out. I don't think he took kindly to not being in Omaha this year. I don't think he takes kindly to watching LSU throw up another championship. I don't think he takes kindly to watching other people succeed. I think that's just the kind of respectfully nut job competitor that he is, and I'm glad we have him.
Yeah, he's a freak, and I do feel sorry for these kids that have gotten bad news this week, because that stinks. Okay, as a dad, that stinks. That really stinks. But let's do this. Let's jump to our phones, and we'll get our first call in. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
How you doing, Tony?
There he is. Billy, what's up, man?
All right. I'll tell you, buddy, one guy that got my sausage burning, George Plaster.
George Plaster got your sausage burning? How?
Well, he's over here making statements that new stadium that Titans is going to be moving to was for the rich. And I'm thinking, George, the whole state of Tennessee paid for that by raising the taxes on groceries.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me of stuff. That runs all over me when municipalities fund these palaces for these billionaires, so these millionaires can play with the billionaires, while the man gets soaked. Every man, woman, and child. Cinco, that reminds me, did you see what South Carolina did, Sean? They're the first of many, or not the first, but they're the latest. A $300, Cinco, student activities fee that goes directly into the pockets of South Carolina's athletic program, the thousands and thousands of students there, Sean, so they can fund NIL. I'm talking about... Go ahead.
So do I understand you? That's not an opt-in thing. That is every student at the University of South Carolina will pay a $300
You got it.
talent fee.
You got it. That's disgusting.
Sorry, that's Barbara Streisand to
That's
me.
BS and disgust. And I love sports, but you know what? We're a minority of people in the population that are sports fans. That's why the Super Bowl gets a 70 rating. It doesn't get 100 or a 70 share. It doesn't get 100 share. Not everybody's a sports fan. And if you're not, you shouldn't have to pay for it. And quit soaking people. You're rich enough. You're in the Southeastern Conference. You're at the top of the thing. Cut a few people out of your athletic department if you need to. Like Mark Griffin said, in basketball now you got 45 coaches. Listen, no offense. You got 45 coaches on the floor now. You don't need, it's excessive. You don't need 45 coaches. I mean, give me a break. Go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
Well, on another note, I sat up and watched my nephew bring it long and bring it strong yesterday. I told you he was in Japan for a couple of weeks.
I wonder what that's like to bring it long and strong. Okay.
His A1 quality performance anchoring Channel 12 News.
Kid's good looking. The kid's good looking and he's talented and he's got a bright future in that deal.
Exactly.
No question.
And
Jesse Farley.
Yeah.
Shout out Jim J.R. Reynolds. J.R. down in Chattanooga. Another show you call in your serial calling.
Yeah. I called them this morning. They were bringing up the death of Bobby Sherman.
Just say the word. Oh, cereal. Bobby Sherman. What is Bobby Sherman remembered for, Bill?
Well, he was a regular on Shindig.
Just say the word.
And he also sung songs like Julie, 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 do you love me?
Sing it.
Julie, Julie, do you love me? Julie, 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 do you care? And
I remember, didn't Goober sung a version of that? It was like, Jody, 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 do you love me? Is that what we're...
Yeah. And, he also made cameo appearance. He also starred in the television series Here Come the Brides.
Cereal. Billy, I love you. You're my man. Great call today, by all others for the rest of our time together on this Tuesday. No, it's a Wednesday. We'll be judged.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted Grade A Grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
Since 2001, High Branch Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been the trusted and preferred name for over 70,000 Knoxville locals. Looking for expert plumbing services and HVAC services, including repairs, replacements, or maintenance. Voted best plumber in Knoxville and one of Knoxville's best HVAC companies 7 years in a row. High Branch is a fully licensed mechanical contractor and committed to excellence and craftsmanship, so you can trust our certified experts to go above and beyond to meet your plumbing and HVAC needs, no matter what problem arises. We also make it easy with transparent pricing, free on-site estimates for replacements, and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing when credit approved. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer stronger than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call PipeWrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at PipeWrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey, whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. TB back with you. Please, whatever you do, don't try this at home. And if you try this at home, pay attention to your spot breaks. That would be my lone piece of advice. Pay attention to your clock and your spot breaks. And don't get wrapped up in your conversation with my man Eris from my Smokies, who are back home this week. Talk to me, my brother. I was telling you, a dear friend of mine went over last night, took 6 folks, had an incredible time at the ballpark, though it was warm on a Tuesday, Eris, but had an exquisite time with y'all, and just said the game presentation was terrific and a great time had by all. I know you love hearing that.
Oh, it's all about, putting together a fantastic show, whether it is hot or cold. But I'd like to say that we can do, everything possible. And even if it is hot outside, we can do it where we're keeping it cool. Yep. We have, the hand-dipped ice creams. We've got the frozen margaritas. We got the ice-cold beers. And the good thing about it is, once 7 o'clock rolls around, all of our seats in the seating bowl, those are shaded. So you can keep cool even though the temperature says it's hot.
It's utterly outstanding, my brother. You ought to go into sales. because you just sold me, Eris, like an absolute world champion. Talk to me. Let's begin on this Wednesday, and let's roll through the great promotions we have this weekend, because you're firing me up right now.
Firing up, dude.
By the way,
today,
it's draft night tonight. You and I share something, a curse in life, proving God has a sense of humor. We're both Sixer fans.
It's a joke.
Oh. Will you be paying attention to the draft tonight, and do you expect to be inordinately let down by what the Sixers come up with tonight at number 3?
One, I will not be watching the draft because I'll be having a great time at America's Friendliest Ballpark.
Thank you very little.
So with the Smokies game. And then I'm expecting it to be a really devastating time because they're going to take that dude from Rutgers and we're going to be stuck with him. And he's probably not going to want to play for the Sixers. That being said, it was up to me. I would try to trade this pick away to whatever and try to figure out something next season because this is not going to work out with anybody that we take unless we move up to 1, which is not happening.
Shout out Alex Myers, because I remember that year we took Benjamin Simmons. And I remember a buddy of mine was at LSU at the time, and he said, Tony, you just got a guy that doesn't like basketball. But other than that, it was a great draft pick. And I told my family that, and they told me I was a hater. You're always saying, they don't like parade. And I said, okay, I'm raining on your parade. Turns out the guy never worked on his game, and then he acquired the name Benjamin in Philly. And why'd they call him Benjamin? Tell the living listener why they called him Benjamin in Philly.
You tell him, man.
It's Benjamin without the J. Benjamin without the J. Benjamin Simmons. So, Harris, let's go through the calendar now that we've established that. Hit it.
Yeah, we're not going to go into the whole Markelle Fultz thing either. So
oh, my gosh. He had some thoracic socket, something I've never heard of. Continue.
So today we got All You Can Eat Wednesday. So come hungry to the ballpark. Gates open up at 6, and that's when the meals will begin. All You Can Eat Wednesdays are back. All You Can Eat pork and beans and all of your favorite ballpark classics like hot dogs and potato chips, popcorn. Come on down. We have plenty of tickets still available for All You Can Eat Wednesday. Tomorrow, of course, is Thursday. Thursday. So half-price draft beers. You cannot beat that, especially when it is hot outside, having an ice-cold beer, watching America's pastime. My God, it sounds so nice right now. Then Friday, I know you're going to dig this, dude. We are going to be debuting our medieval night at the ballpark. We want to talk about throwback, eh? So we're going to have actual live night fighting taking place after the game, brought to you by our friends at Dauntless Armored Combat. I don't know if anybody listening right now has ever made it out to Shoalsbrough Brewery, but these are the same dudes that are going to be coming out here and dueling at Covenant Health Park this Friday. This is legit. It's 800 pounds of armor. These are real armor, suits of armor, and real swords. This isn't like those LARPers in the park with pool noodles and stuff, dude. Real clashing and fighting after the game. How sick is that?
So not like some of these cosplayers I see out in the park.
No way. No.
You cosplayers.
These are actual guys training and wanting to be real life today's and age knights.
Gladiators, suits of
Indeed.
armor on. Hey, Cinco, what do you think a coat of armor weighs, Cinco? And how long do you think you and I would survive swinging these knives at each other before one of us just tapped out?
As the kids say, that's a hard pass.
Yeah, that does not sound, especially as brutally hot as it is, man. Are you kidding me?
I don't do cat and nine tails. I don't do fiery arrows. That's just a thing I have.
Eris, how much does a coat of that stuff weigh? Any idea?
The suit of armor starts at 800 pounds.
Go! You got to be crazy.
And then you're actually in a fight.
And what night is that, Eris?
That's this Friday, man. Friday night fights.
Beautiful. All right. We'll be there. And then Saturday?
Hey, Saturday is our Taylor Swift themed game at the ballpark. Last year we did it in April, and it was huge, and now we're bringing it back. Prime time, Saturday night, June 28th at the ballpark. First 2,000 fans for the gates are going to get a Smokies friendship bracelet. You know, I'd be making one for you, B. we can have matching ones, of course. And after the game, we want to talk about from one extreme to the next. Friday, we have Knights dueling. Saturday night, we have the world-famous DJ Swifty. This guy travels across the world DJing Taylor Swift hits, and he's coming to Knoxville this Saturday.
Do you know that she was at Byron Williams Family Farm venue for a wedding 2 weeks ago? You could have timed it right on top of each other, and we could have gotten her there, man, if you'd let me know.
I know. It's my fault, man. I should have reached out to you. We could have moved the date.
And you know she's from up there. She's a home girl. She's from Berks County, man. She's one of our home girls.
Yeah, man. She used to sing at the Iron Pigs games.
I want too many dates. Did she really sing at the Iron Pigs?
Yep.
Wow. Well, you're my man. I love you. I appreciate you. If people want more information, how do they do so?
Guys, you haven't come out to a Smokies game yet this season. What are you waiting for? Now is the time to do it. Give us a call, 865-286-2300. But as always, for all of our information about theme nights or giveaways, tickets, so on and so forth, all of it at SmokiesBaseball.com or at SmokiesBaseball on your favorite social media platform.
You could be my man. I appreciate you, and I do look forward to seeing you later and getting let down by the Sillies. I mean the Sixers and the Sillies.
Yeah.
Think very little. Freudian slip on my part. Thank you. SmokiesBaseball.com. Thank you, Ers. He the man. He can dribble. He can shoot. He the man. Cinco, in your humble opinion, do you find Taylor Swift to be a good artist?
Yeah. I mean,
yes.
I can be objective on that. She and Morgan Wallen seem to be the two biggest things going these days, regardless of my taste in music. So yeah, can't begrudge her success.
Great songwriter and knows what she's doing with her audience. Speaks to those people.
Let me tell you, I told you this before. I sat there with my two daughters in Nashville.
Yep.
She held that whole stadium in the palm of her hand and could have taken them anywhere she wanted.
No question about that. Let me shout out another great artist, and that's my man Will Heflin over at VIP Play, because, look, man, now it's coming to the close here. Okay, we're at the stretch drive of the June giveaway. You're going to want to get involved in this. You got to open an account. You just open an account, you make one bet, and away you go. Maybe you make a bet on the draft tonight, you know. Maybe a bet that my Sixers are going to crap out at 3 and draft a guy with one leg 4 inches longer than the other. I mean, if there's a real winner in this bunch to find in the first round, they're going to find the winner. Trust me, and I do mean winner. VIP Play, go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus right now. Make your first bet of $5 or more. You get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Promo code TNTony. Promo code is TNTony. Also, the Players Club sweepstakes on the 30th of June, a grand prize winner is drawn. It could be you. It doesn't matter. You know, look, every entry you bet, you're in there. Every dollar you bet, you're in there. $10, 10 times the entries on parlays, same game parlays. Contest ends June 30. Subsequent contest to follow monthly. Remember, Major League Baseball, you could have bet on the Redlegs last night against Bino's Wankies. The Redlegs got it done. 25% Major League parlay profit boost, 3 picks or more. Maybe you want to make a pick tonight on SEMO going Yardo again. Remember, 200 leagues live, numerous bet types, props, options. If you haven't bet in mind, you can't find it in any sportsbook, VIP Play will help you. Yesterday, I reached out to Killer Kowalski. I said, I need lines on these games. I'm going to get you real actual lines on our SEC versus Big Ten Challenge. And remember, gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. Sean, when you put the Big Ten and the SEC on paper next to each other and you go 1 through 16, it is so obvious how much better the middle of our league is than the middle of their league, Sean. Just better players, just better athletes, a better brand of football, Sean.
I heard you and Brian talking about that yesterday, and I agree, because I think the I think what you get is the depth of defensive linemen and the depth of athletes in the South is just way better than the Big Ten. So your top of the line in the Big Ten are going to compete. Obviously, the bottom of both leagues, they are what they are, but the middle is where that's where the hay is brought in for the SEC.
And that's why this league might stay at 8 games, Sean. And you know what? When you think about it, it makes kind of sense. Why wouldn't I stay at 8 games? I get more playoff teams.
Yeah, I heard you and Will and Brian talking about 10 games. I still think there's a place in the schedule for Humpties, and maybe you say, well, we're giving you 2, okay, but I still think there has to be bye games because you get your young guys in there, you get your depth pieces, etc. And I think 10 may be too much of a gauntlet. Though I do understand what Will's saying. You get through the SEC, you can play with anybody.
Will's a goof. Let's go back to the busy TLD Logistics phone lines. The busy. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, y'all. This is William.
Hey, William. Welcome in. You agree, don't you, that Will Heflin's a goof, William? You agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, he's total goof.
Anyway, so the top 25 ranked stadiums have came out for the new college football game, college football 26.
All right, where'd they rank them?
They ranked the Vols at 12.
Wow.
Neyland Stadium at 12.
That's rough, man. How many SEC stadiums are ahead of Tennessee?
I know Alabama's ahead of them, and South Carolina for some reason, I think. Let me see.
Cinco, what do you think of South Carolina? You've been there a few times. What do you think of the game day experience there?
Here we go.
Oh, the people are nice. The stadium is okay, but
not Neyland Stadium.
It was no great shake.
Nor Leland Statham. Shout out Nashville. What you got, William? Talk to me.
So LSU is the number 1 for some odd reason.
What do you think of LSU, Cinco? You like that? Disagree? Agree? Disagree? Death Valley at night?
At night, it's electric. Any other time, but at night, it's a morgue.
Agree. He went down there and put him to sleep. The Heupel's breakout year put him in an absolute choke slammed him on the concrete. Continue, William.
At number 4 is U to the G to the A to Georgia.
Cinco, what do you think of it between the hedges? Do you recommend it?
It's neat. I never thought. I know there was that one thing a couple of years ago. I never thought it was that rowdy.
Just don't say it out loud when you played quarterback here. You stir those people all up.
Florida, the swamp, way better.
Interesting. What else in the SEC is ahead of Neyland Stadium, which is a 12? Continue, William.
Bryant-Denny Stadium, home to the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I love Brian Dennehy, great actor. And, they got lights and they play with them there. They turn the lights on and off and do the LED thing. And, you can go in there and have a good, seizure moment if you're so inclined. I don't get it. I don't know that it's all that great of an atmosphere in that place. How about you, Sean?
Never been there. We always played at the in Birmingham,
which I love.
Believe it or not, I've never been to Tuscaloosa.
I love old Legion Field. The way that thing feels.
Yeah, Legion Field.
Total dump, but I love the feel of that thing. You feel the history in there. You can feel it.
Best story ever is Freddie and Bino getting cussed at.
No. William, stay right there because we'll continue through that list here on TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime. He's SEAN Sinclair, DDS in beautiful Maryville, should you need his services. My name is Tony Basilio. tclub.team is where you find us. A couple thousand words up there today on our Tennessee basketball program that's done everything. I mean everything but get to the Final Four. It's utterly incredible when you look at the accomplishments. You can read all about it at tclub.team. Tomorrow, Matt and Brian have the floor there. We love you. Peace to the radio listener. G to the B to the O.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
It's kind of incredible if you stop and think about it for a second.
It's TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime, presented by TLD Logistics. Online at tldlogistics.com. And now let's go to the guys with today's edition of TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime.
Mother Nature calls, you got to answer the phone, Tony.
Yeah, because nature was calling, not because I'm falling. But I had to go a lot more than I thought I did. William, is that you?
Yes, this is me.
William, have you ever had to go a lot worse than you thought you did when you're doing number one?
No.
Oh. William, continue. Now, we left off at Bryant-Dennehy Stadium. They were on what on that ranking of in 2026 in college football?
5.
And this is the video game, the 2026 video game?
For this, which comes out, I don't know when.
Will you be getting it, William? Will you be getting the game?
Yes.
Awesome. I love the
And
Atari.
I believe you already know what team I'm picking.
I loved Atari football growing up. And Activision. I had Activision football too. William, okay, so where are we now? Give me our next SEC team that's jumped ahead of Neyland Stadium in these bogus rankings.
Ben Hill Griffin Stadium for some reason, home of the Florida Gators.
Cinco, why would they put Benny Hill Griffin Stadium in there?
When they're rolling, it is awesome.
Pretty loud place, and I think they'll be okay this year. Put it this way. All hands are going to be on deck when we go down there in November, Cinco, yes or no? Be a tough game to win for us.
Always has been.
Really weird deal. Everybody in the last 15 years has beaten the absolute hell out of them but us. Kentucky had like a 4 or 5 game winning streak against them. And we couldn't beat him if we were mad at him, Cinco. What in the world?
I'd make sure the Iceman's in that locker room.
Because the Iceman, Jerry Butler, he cometh. Continue.
Casey Clausen.
Continue, William.
Gaylord family, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium.
The Gaylord Family Stadium, Cinco, is what they're calling it in the video game. Beat me up, Scotty. You got to be kidding me. Cinco, your thoughts on that?
Not a big fan of that name, Tony.
Interesting. Say that stadium name again. William.
Gaylord Family, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium.
That's pretty appropriate. Then what's next?
This one's actually right in front of Tennessee, which is Kyle Field, which makes sense.
Home of the Stepfords from Texas A&M.
Yep.
The Stepford wives and the Stepford husbands. Really goofy vibe around that deal. Cinco, have you come around to my way of thinking that it's never going to happen for A&M now?
You are more right than I am, Tony.
It's crazy, dude.
They appear to be bridesmaids.
What is up with that, man?
Gosh, and they spend the most money.
Oh. Do they go for it? What? I think Texas Tech, guys, has it right. Pick a sport and be good at it. Pick a soft target, go buy the players, and go win you a natty. That poor softball coach at Texas Tech, Cinco, he's going to have the most pressure on him in any sport. When they build you a super team, there's only one thing you can do when they build you a super team, Cinco. And if you don't do it, William, you suck.
I mean, I don't know, but that's a game that one hot pitcher can take you down at any time.
To quote Ronnie Van Zant, you got that right. Got that right. William, do you have anything else for us? Who is behind Neyland Stadium? Give me the 4 behind Neyland Stadium on that list on this 2026 video game. This is the EA Sports game, William?
Yes, it's EA Sports.
Excellent.
But in the picture I'm looking at, it's showing only 3 of them that are behind Tennessee.
All right, hit it.
That being Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium.
How about that?
Longhorn.
That's a very, very, very austere place. I would love to see a game there just for the history and the way they celebrate the sport of college football at Darrell K. Royal Stadium. Continue.
And it would also be the battle for the actual name of UT.
Correct-amundo, my friend. Correct-amundo.
Yeah, but that's getting off track. Anyway, Williams-Brice Stadium, home of the South Carolina Gamecocks.
All right. I thought you told me we were ahead of them. Or they were ahead of us.
But I forgot.
Oh,
so
you forgot? All right, I forgot. And then who's next?
Auburn, Jordan Hare Stadium.
Hey, Cinco, that's a hell of a place, Auburn. That's another place, Cinco. When they get it rolling down there, that is one especially at night, Sean, that is a loud complex there.
It can be. I think it's a lot like Georgia.
Mm-hmm. William, anything else on your alleged mind today, my man? Because you're a terrific caller.
I'm just going to say, I hope one of our players get drafted tonight. Going to the NBA.
Very well put. Very well put, William. Very well put. Thank you, my man. Good talking to you. 865-200-5402. How about your boy Tony Valls, Sean, is going to be front and center at the Major League Baseball draft again? That's got to run all over his competitors all over college football. I mean, college baseball, rather.
Too bad. Eat it. Tony V is the face of the college baseball right now. I mean, I give credit to Johnson, but whoever's at LSU, but anybody they brought in there would win championships.
Of course, the way they stock those two pitchers. I mean, the way they stock that roster.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to get this kid from Rutgers now, who Tony looked right at him when he was on the air with me and said, if we get this guy, it'll be us. Tony was.
I think Tony was in the house last night, so maybe you never know.
Hey, one thing about him, man, he's going to go right to the last drop.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, I don't begrudge a kid for taking the money.
No,
we all do it. It's not a sellout. You provide for your well-being and your families and all that. And LSU, and I love Tennessee, but LSU doesn't take a backseat to anybody in baseball.
It's the New York Yankees of the whole deal, man. The New York Yankees of the whole deal. And the fact that we're right there with them should say everything that you want to say about Tony Vitello and the job he's done, his staff, all these kids that have paved the way. I mean, they're at the top of this thing. How'd you like to be Tim Corbin, and you sat on the throne, and it looked like, as far as you could see in the horizon, that your advantage was going to hold up. And now, they're number one seed, and they just got dismissed like nothing. And you don't hear about them. You don't hear about him. No.
Again, they're not irrelevant, but no one talks about them. And then don't even get me started on that term, Vandy boys. Come on.
Well, it's going to be with the naming rights to Oklahoma. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. Happy hump day to you guys.
My man, dude. That's my boy right there. Greg in Columbia, my boy. That's my boy
What's
right
going
there.
on with you this
How you doing, man?
brother?
Hey, Greg, I cannot imagine how hot it is in Columbia today, brother.
Oh.
I mean, the thought of that sends a shiver down my spine, brah.
Well, let me tell you, it's in the 90s, and the heat index is about 100, and you can really tell the difference when you walk outside. It's not a good place right now. But anyway.
I'm thinking about, seriously, guys, throwing a little Pam, because I have a black car outside that's been in the sun for forever. In fact, Cinco, I left my music playing iPad in the back of my car yesterday in a black case. Okay?
Ooh.
Laura went out there and said, "What are you trying to do?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "This thing doesn't power on. It might not power on. It says that it overheated like several hours ago. Thank God I didn't cook an appliance. There's a thing inside those things that kind of trip when they get too hot. But, Greg, I'm really thinking about going out and making frying some eggs on my car and filming it for YouTube."
That might be a cool thing to do, brother.
There you go.
Hey,
Throw some Pam on there. Throw some bacon and some eggs. Cook a little meal.
There you go.
Make an omelet.
Yeah,
Make an omelet.
Make a Conzo omelet with the meat of the topic.
It'll work. It'll work. Hey, one reason I was calling today, Tony, was there's a couple, but this was one that was on my list. Did you watch the Braves and the Mets last night?
I'm locked out from seeing the Braves and Mets play.
Well, I was flipping the channels yesterday evening, and I scanned down through all of them, and TBS said Braves and the Mets, and I moved it over, and it wasn't blocked. And I was able to watch it.
Now that's weird.
I was amazed, but I got to thinking. I even tweeted something out about it. I'm not going to hold my breath because they were in New York. Might be the reason why TBS didn't block it here. All the games they've had at Atlanta have always been blocked, so I don't know.
We had Ben McKee on yesterday, and he said, he was nestling into his easy chair Monday night, was going to watch the Yankees because he pays for the service, okay? He pays for every Yankee game all year. He's a Yankee fan like I'm a Philly fan. And I pay like $100 a year, and it's the best bargain in sports, and get to watch your team every night. No, not every night. Because when you play the Reds, you're blacked out. When you play the Braves, you're blacked out. It's the most annoying damn thing in the world, Greg. It's stupid. They need to stop it. It's stupid. It's no way to grow your game, Greg. No way to grow your game.
You're right. I mean, I've been a Braves fan all my life. I even tweeted, 3 or 4 years ago, I could watch them on any channel they were on. They were never blocked in Tennessee.
Yep.
And I haven't watched them. This is probably the second time I've watched them in 3 years.
Greg, how far from Columbia? How far from Columbia is Atlanta, Greg?
Probably 3.5 hours.
And they act like you're going to get in your damn car and go see the game every night. I mean, think about that. Oh, what are they
That's just
doing?
An excuse, man.
It's ridiculous. Money grab. Money grab.
That's all it is. And let me say one thing. After watching last night, the pros, after I've watched all these Tennessee baseball games and other college baseball games, these guys, when they hit the ball off the bat and it goes into the outfield and not caught, base hit, they make it to first, and then there was a guy last night, I think he was on second base, and the Mets hit a gapper. He got to third and stopped. And then I'm watching them closer run bases. They're just trotting around. They're just trotting from one base to the other. They're not even going all out. And I thought, man, this sucks. They're multimillionaires, and it's a worse game in that instance than it is with college. Except you got a man last night, Vol for Life, Stemo.
That was incredible, dude. Incredible.
Hit the home run to left field.
Incredible.
And in the 10th inning, he gets one off the wall in right center. And at first, it wasn't called a homer, but I noticed when you saw it hit the wall, it was over the wall behind it. But he'd already got to third base when the ball got into the infield. It was ruled a home run.
He's going to be an absolute force, man, at that level. About the major league guys running the bases, one thing that I've come to grips with is a lot of the guys that are there because of their bats don't have the speed to run and aren't going to run. A lot of the guys are trying to protect themselves from injury in a 162-game season, so you have to pace yourself. Postseason baseball and regular season baseball are two completely different things in terms of the way the game's played. Sean, I like what Major League Baseball's done with making their game quicker. The 3-pitcher rule, the pitch clock being sternly enforced, the fact that the home plate umpires are much better at calling balls and strikes than they are at the collegiate level. I think the Major League game right now, Cinco, is for that reason a better product than college baseball. If college baseball would tighten its act up and quit this stuff where you're going out and getting a pitcher and using 25 pitchers in a game, I think it could be a tightened up, better version of the game. I like what Major League Baseball has done to its game, Sean. What do you think?
I haven't watched a lot of Major League Baseball. I would like to address the fact that Campo guy, that was a disgrace. That was an absolute disgrace, what he did. You can have a rule and you can finesse a rule. There is no way that he should have thrown those two guys out of that game. We'll never know. LSU seems to have been a team, the best team in the tournament. Congratulations to them. But that just solidified me as one. And I know it wasn't balls and strikes, and Burke said that he was doing a decent job with that.
He sucks.
But I've always heard that the best umpire, an umpire did a good job if you never saw him.
That's exactly right, Greg. For what that guy did, interjecting himself in the middle of that game in the first inning, to me. And I watch these law enforcement shows, and I know it's not the same as being in law enforcement, being around what those guys do every day. I wouldn't want to do that for all the tea in China. But you watch some people, the way they handle people, and they're there to diffuse. And then I watch some people that are police officers, and some of you that are in law enforcement probably know what I'm talking about. There are certain people, guys and gals, that love to just amp it all up. That's not your job. Your job's not to amp it all up. Your job is to diffuse and to protect and serve. And when I watch that guy, he looked like a policeman that likes to write a ticket to somebody because they went 5 over. Most police, if you go 5 over, going to pull you over, if they pull you over, and they're going to say, hey, let me see your license and your registration. And if you're good, they're going to send you on your way and say, slow down. That guy there, he'd throw your ass under the jail for going 5 over. And probably get you on another charge.
And I think also that I think he had a beef, legitimately, because that his strike zone for the Ianson kid, he threw 3 outside curveballs that were nowhere close to the plate and called them strikes.
That's exactly right.
I thought the Coastal guy had a definite beef.
Right.
And there's ways around that. That affected the game. Again, I'm not saying they lost the game because of that, but it greatly affected the game.
Sure it did.
It was just so unnecessary.
It's cheap. I mean, Greg, that's a championship game they marred, man. Letting that guy back there, Greg.
Let me tell you, you've got a guy back there like that guy was, and there's been a lot of those throughout the season. And I salute Tony Vitello. He held back a lot during his games, never got in the deal with the balls and strikes. But let me tell you, I agree with Cinco the other day. There was a lot of pitches that he missed, and he held up his 3 fingers. Oh, I know there's 3 you missed. He was truthful. There was no disrespect to the umpire, that was true. That was a true statement, in my opinion, as well. And until they get that little square on the box like Major League has, they can put lights in the helmet, just like the helmet had the camera throughout the entire World Series. They can put two little lights in the in his helmet, one of them a green one, one of them a red one, and they can tie that to the computer. As you see on TV, when the major leaguers throw a strike in the box, it puts up a little circle, tells how fast it was and where it was. They can connect that to another deal that turns the lights on. Green if it's a strike, red if it was a ball.
I'm for robotic umpires. I agree. I agree, Greg.
Instantaneously.
Greg, I would much rather see R2-D2 behind the plate as this idiot the other day. At least R2-D2 made me laugh. He threw two guys out with going like doing this thing. Did he have arms, Cinco, R2-D2, or am I misremembering?
Anyway. No, I don't think so.
Oh.
C-3PO had him.
C-3PO. Greg, you're my man. I love you. Stay cool, okay, buddy?
Hey, you guys do the same. One more thing. I salute Caitlin Clark for stepping up for her teammate who stepped up for her, and she says if they suspend her, she's gone. I salute her, and I think Americans do too.
That girl that stepped up there and was going to whoop somebody's ass, she's the enforcer on that deal, and I'm all for that. Back to the phones we go. TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime, hello and welcome in. And Caitlin Clark makes a WNBA worth looking at. And I hate to tell you, but she's the only one. No offense to that league. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony, I agree 100%. It's Taylor. Hey, Sean. If I'm the WNBA, I protect Caitlin Clark.
Of course.
I put her on a pedestal, and she is the only reason I would even watch a Twitter replay of the WNBA, and she's obviously sensational.
She's their Wayne Gretzky, man. Look, I mean, it's like Charles Barkley said. Barkley said these women are so jealous of each other. I love Barkley. He said these women are so jealous of each other. He said, let me tell you something. When LeBron James came into our league, we let him score. He said, I want him to make money because the more money he makes, the more money I'm going to make. It's kind of like when Tiger Woods was balling out in the PGA Tour. The more money he makes, the more money I make. Somebody needs to tell these people that. Why are you trying to kill your golden cow because you're a golden calf because you're jealous of her? You got to be freaking kidding me.
Pure pettiness, Tony. Pure pettiness.
Interesting.
Tony, you and Dr. Sinclair were talking about how you felt sorry for some of these 19 baseball players or former baseball players who've hit the portal, and 16 of those 19 are pitchers. But I'm here to submit to you, I promise you, not all 19 of those were asked to go. There are several that Coach Vitello and that staff would love to have back, and there's more than just Dylan Loy. Don't have the list in front of me, but just off the top of my head, I can promise you they did not want Bryson Thacker to leave. They did not want Thomas Crabtree. They did not want Braden Sharp. I don't think they wanted Benke to leave. Certainly Breedlove, they didn't want him to go, and Sharman, just to name a few. And I will also say to you, I know for a fact that they're reaching out to some of those, trying to negotiate to get them back. But it's a two-way street, right? Some were certainly encouraged to go based on the 34-man roster. Mm-hmm. Others decided, you know what, this isn't the place for me. Maybe I'm not a good fit. Maybe I just don't like it here, or maybe I'm going to look and see where I can, get more of an opportunity to get innings or get at bats, or certainly NIL money, I'm sure probably didn't hurt that as well.
Cinco, are you surprised to hear that? And I know that Taylor keeps a firm ear to the ground, so I'm going to respect what he's saying. I haven't heard that, but I'm going to respect what he's saying. Sean, how do you respond to that, the possibility that some of these guys just jumped?
Well, I guess it's a possibility, but look, we're in uncharted territory for both players and for the coaches. They're trying to figure it out. There seems to be no guidance from the NCAA. Therefore, there's no guidance from the ADs. So these guys are trying to figure out the best they can. Aside from Loy, I saw no player leaving that has contributed significantly, and that's not a slap on them. Everybody develops differently. So it looks like right now they're valuing known commodities, even in the transfer portal, or taking a chance on. Well, what you can't have is a kid that declines the draft and is just another Chase Burns type, Appenzeller, or the other kid, and you don't have room for him. So I'm willing to give grace to everybody because this is such an unknown time.
It's a good way of looking at
it. I'm not being critical of the coaches. I'm just stating beyond the only 7.1 innings that the players I just listed cumulatively had in SEC play, they have high ceilings. They either have great arms, good. Some of those have good bats too. But anyway, these were high ceiling kids that they certainly wanted back. At least about 90% of the ones I mentioned, they definitely wanted back. But that happens. This is the era we're in. It's a two-way street. Some kids are going to look, and it wouldn't surprise me if one or two of those kids may end up back at Tennessee. We'll see. But it's just the way it is, that roster restriction and competitiveness. But here's the deal. I mean, the reality is, did you think Xander Seacrest was going to have the year he had? Obviously, he wouldn't have gotten that chance in this new era. Trey Lipscomb certainly wouldn't have gotten that chance in this era. And I submit to you, we probably wouldn't have seen what Jared Dickey could do. And I don't know, it's kind of a shame. I don't like the way this sport and college athletics is moving. Hopefully, collective bargaining is closer than we think. But if they don't get there, Tony and Sean, respectfully, I don't see how it's sustainable. At the end of the day, it's the eyes either on TV or the butts in the seats that make all this affordable. And if you continue to play pickup sports in a brand new roster every year, I don't know that a portion of the fan base is not going to lose interest. And I certainly hope that doesn't happen, but things have got to certainly improve. You guys do a great job, GBO.
He's exactly right, Sean. That's why I can't figure out why they won't address the collective bargaining thing and sit down with these kids, because everybody knows that's where you got to get to.
They're just kicking a different can down the road.
Yep.
Nothing's changed. They're trying to control what they think they control, even though they have no control. I feel for him. I mean, you take a look at it. When we're just talking about production, we're not talking about the person. I don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt because I suggest someone didn't have a great season. Every player on that team's a million times better an athlete than I ever thought of dreaming of being. So there's that. But for all the developmental kids, yeah, a coach has got, with this restriction, a coach has got to go with what he knows and what he's seen. I mean, he brought in guys like Franklin and Arvidsson, and with all due respect, Arvidsson had 3 very nice outings at the end of the season. Otherwise, there wasn't so much. Tanner Franklin had a couple of nice, spots, but it was unremarkable. I wish them all great luck. The Combs youngster, that's what I think. I mean, they had to have thought they were getting a heck of a lot more out of him when they brought him in. Unfortunately, and it's, again, no offense, but these coaches have to go find known commodities because that's the only thing they can plug in. They don't even know when they start 34. Do they start 34 when classes start, or when classes start in January 1st? What happens if someone gets sick? What happens if they transfer? What happens if they get hurt? Are you now playing with 28 players?
It's
a terrible situation for everybody.
Yeah, it's totally.
And it's the way the NCAA always does things is they write a rule down on the paper. Mm-hmm. Every yes person looks at it and goes, yeah, that sounds okay. Mm-hmm. And they don't do their due diligence and talk to the people that are actually executing this stuff.
Half-assed is what I'd call it, Sean. Where I come from.
Absolutely quarter-assed.
Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in on our TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime. You're on the air.
Philly.
Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Tony, Sean, Joshy, boy?
Hey, Wingzo.
Hey, Josh.
You guys trying to stay cool today on this hot day?
Brother, I'm gonna go down and get me a black diamond today and put it right in my ice box.
Cut that black diamond up, baby.
Cut that sucker wide open.
Hey, Sean, if you don't know what we're talking about, these black diamond watermelons we saw at Kroger, they are out of this world, man.
Cinco, you go to a black diamond. Oh.
What's this black diamond? What is it?
It's a watermelon, Sean. Check out your local Kroger.
It's a round watermelon. It's real dark in color, and you cut it open, and it's very, very, very bright inside. It's very awesome. It's an amazing fruit. Amazing.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to do that because I'll tell you what, that's one of the biggest ripoffs in my life. Is when I was a kid, that's the thing. You get a watermelon. You put some people put a little salt on it. I think some people put a little sugar. Whatever you do, and you sit there with your grandparents, and it's the best thing in the world.
Ever.
And you spit out the seeds, or you don't. Whatever you do, and it was delicious. Now I go. Wherever I go, I get a watermelon. And it tastes like water.
And you know why?
Watermelon,
you know why?
It tastes like freaking water.
And you know why? Because they're seedless, and it's not real fruit. So I don't. You're exactly right, Cinco. I want seeded watermelon that tastes
so I'm going to get a black diamond, Joshy, because I want to have that experience again.
I don't blame you, brother. Go ahead, do it. So, Tony, I want to start off by saying, if you are a college baseball player in college, you want to be developed and get to the pros pretty quick, I would go to Tennessee and play for Tony Vitello, because we saw what Tony did with Simo, Chase Burns, Blake Berg, Dylan Drowlin. Those kids are not going to be in the minor leagues for too long. They'll be up in the majors really soon. What do you guys think?
Off the super team.
The Berkeys that are still in the minors and the Drowlin.
Off the super team, right?
Yeah.
They've got 8 guys that have made it. There's Drew Beam's going to get there. That's 9.
Yep.
At some point, Drew Gilbert's going to get there, but the clock's ticking on him, guys. He's 24.
He needs to leave the Mets, so
that's exactly what needs to happen. I was just talking to Greg Madia off the air, who's a big Mets fan, and he was saying that they might use that kid as a trade piece to acquire either some bullpen help for their championship run this year, and that is what you use your top prospects for. That would really benefit that kid to get to an organization where there's a chance for upward mobility, because he's not hitting the ball very well. I think his average is like 231 at Syracuse right now, and he's got like 6 home runs. So he's not exactly breaking out. He hasn't been able to stay
Gilbert
healthy.
We're talking about?
Yeah, Drew Gilbert.
Yeah.
Gilbert would be much better off if the Mets would flip him, because they got a veteran outfield, and it looks like they have an established outfield. And I'm just kind of thinking out loud for him.
An organization where they don't have a really good outfield.
Like the Rockies. Hey, go to a place, or the Angels. Go to a place where there's more, more opportunity for you. It just doesn't look like it's going to be there in New York for the time being, and I hate that for him.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what Chase Burns did in his debut last night, and what did you think about Simo, man? A home run in the 8th inning and a home run in the 10th inning to walk it off.
First of all, I'm cheering for Chase Burns. I consider him a Vol.
I am too.
He was a credibility recruit for Tennessee when they got him. You don't win a World Series without him,
right?
Because his credibility and his presence here allowed you to keep your Omaha, another step to Omaha, like they did that one year when they used him as a closer, and they knew they were going to lose him because they knew they hurt his feelings. They hurt his family's feelings. I saw his dad and his mom and his sister last night being interviewed on Reds baseball. It's an incredible story that kid got there that quickly. He's a great talent. he's going to be a very good pitcher at that level, and we ought to claim him. We ought to make peace with the fact that he left and root for the kid. I'm rooting for him. I hope he explodes and blows up, and he was electric last night, Joshy boy.
We definitely claim him because he was here longer than he was at Wake Forest.
See, I agree with that. He was electric last night. Electric in that game.
Very electric. So, Tony, I know you probably don't keep up with it much, but what do you think about they released a list on the upcoming college football game, and a lot of Tennessee fans were upset about Neyland Stadium being the number 12 most toughest place to play in the game. They were like, Tennessee should be number 1 because Neyland Stadium is the toughest place to play at in college football.
I think Neyland Stadium's among the toughest to play. I'm not a traveler these days. I will say there are some stadiums like Florida Field when they have it going that I think's a tougher place to play than Neyland Stadium.
Right.
And I guess I'm allowed to say that out loud. I do think Georgia, when they have it going and when they get it cranked up, is a really tough place to play. I think Auburn, when they have it cranked up and they get it going, is a really tough place to play. I think Death Valley.
State College.
I don't know about State College. I don't know because it's been forever since I've been there. I can't speak to that. Did they have State College ahead of Tennessee?
Yeah, I think State College was like at 3rd or 4th, and Tennessee was at 12th.
That seems a little out of order to me, but
yeah,
that's just me. As long as Big Game James is coaching, I don't know how hard your building is to play in.
Tony, did you and Cinco see last night when the D-backs were huddling up at the pitcher's mound and Cattell Marte was like crying for the D-backs, and they eventually said a fan was heckling him and like giving him a hard time because of his late mother passing away in 2017. Yeah, it's everywhere now on the news.
A guy was getting on him because his mother passed away?
In 2017, yeah. And they just released it. That fan is banned from attending White Sox games now, which well done by the White Sox.
Imagine yelling at an athlete, "I'm glad your mom died, Cattell.
Yeah.
I'm glad your mother." Imagine the mentality to even consider saying like that, something like that to somebody.
And how really low that is.
Oh.
Imagine a former baseball coach at Tennessee doing something similar to that.
Yeah.
It might be why that guy's no longer coaching, and nor will
Tony,
he ever.
Yeah, here's something I want to bring up beforehand. What about the thing that I saw something and it just stuck with me the past couple of days, and I sent it to you, Tony, about Derek Curriell, fantastic freshman at LSU, leadoff batter, national champion now. Apparently, he was told that he could not use his regular walk-up song in Omaha because it was a Christian praise and worship song.
Yeah.
And someone reached out and he confirmed that he was not able to do that.
He said that, Joshy boy.
Music is music.
He said he wasn't allowed. The guy said, "How come you didn't use your song?" And basically, they said that Curriell did not. His walk-up song, the NCAA said, was not suitable because it'd be offensive to people. It was a Christian song.
Mind you, the biggest song in college baseball is "The Stroke" by Billy Squier. You don't even know what the word innuendo means to understand that.
Right. Yeah. And Tony, out the door, if anyone ever heckles a person at any event about any relative passing away, the person's pretty much a piece of shit. Sorry for my language.
Thank you. And I think, just like the thing that happened at the Eagles game this past year, if you see something like that happening and you don't turn around and say something to somebody or take matters into your own hands, I got zero respect for you. I'm sorry. There's a time and a place for everything, man.
Not a time and place for that crap.
I agree with that, Sean. You got to turn around and go, "Hey, look, You understand you're at a baseball game here, man? You understand what we're doing? You understand this community? This is a civil thing we're doing here.
And I totally agree with you about Chase Burns. I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights there, and life's too short to hold grudges, my man.
No, we need to claim him. I mean, hell, he was fantastic here. His freshman year when his hat wouldn't fit, and then, right up to getting this team to the World Series, and he had his disagreement, and he went and did his thing, and Tennessee went and won a World Series. And he's going to be very good at that level.
He is. He's very Paul Skeens-ish.
Mm-hmm. He's freaky. Cinco, thank you.
Thanks for having me, Tone. I've always appreciated you inviting me on Wednesdays.
Thank you. And it's very on brand for the NCAA to tell a kid you can't use your song. Your song says God or Jesus in it. You can't do that. That's pretty on brand. I find that, let me think about this here, 1,000% believable that happened to that Curiel kid. Like 1,000% maybe? How about 100,000,000% believable that happened to that kid? In the meantime, I want to thank my friends at TLD Logistics. They're online at tldlogistics.com. Incredible. I love you. I appreciate you, TLD Logistics. You make America move. For all your shipping needs, reach out to them. They would love to visit with you at TLD Logistics. They're online at tldlogistics.com. If you're in the trucking game and you need a change, or you're looking for, they've got generous packages right now, reach out to them at TLD Logistics. Say, TB sent me, as several folks have. I want to thank my friends at Simpson's Meats today for presenting. None other than our Wednesday with Watson Brown segment. And special shout out to my friends at Rather Kittrell Capital Management, rkcapital.com, for presenting our appearance with Greg Madia today, or Greg Madia, who broke it down scientifically. One Virginia kid that's on the way in Tennessee's class, and another one who just might be, before it's all said and done. For Cinco, for Brian Hartman today, my name's Tony Basilio. I hope you have yourself a great day. We'll come back tomorrow. John Adams will be in the house. We have so much to talk about. I mean, so much to talk about tomorrow. So much to talk about. Why am I talking broken English? I don't know, but we have so much to talk about. Till we meet again, I love you. I appreciate you. Peace. GBO. And now, without further ado, we run it back. We move right to left and left to right across your device. I make you smile. You make me smile. Oh, man. All right, let's run it back here. I yawned on you. It's not nice to do that to your friends, but we are friends.
Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Got a busy day out in front of you. Busy day. Great Wednesday to you and yours. Pretty fired up to be with you today on this really smoking hot Wednesday as we continue to burn it up. Burn up the day, burn up the night. And at this point, I can't see a reason to put up a fight. So, Cinco, the great Sean Sinclair, welcome in. How you doing, buddy?
Don, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Are you pumped right now?
I'm pumped for the show. I don't know if in general I'm pumped, but yeah, for the show I am.
Well, we're going to go into transfer portal world today and check in with a gentleman out of Virginia who's been on the show before. A gentleman who's really a terrific guy. He's been great to us in the past, who covers Virginia. And we're going to talk about Henry Ford. And we're also, Cinco, going to get into another guy that Tennessee's involved with, a pitcher by the name of Blanco, a lefty from Virginia. And so we're gonna download a couple guys. That's gonna happen here in about 1 hour. In the meantime, Marky Boy Griffin is going to be with us. Marky Boy has had an opportunity to see the Vols during the summer and has a few thoughts on the upcoming Tennessee basketball season. Joe Lenardi, as we noted today in the blog, has Cinco, do you not love the bracketologist? He's moved the Vols up a line from a 3 seed to a 2 seed, from his May survey to his June survey. Now, if that isn't the dumbest thing in the world, I don't know what is, but hey, he gets paid to do that. Some would say my job's pretty dumb. People like John Adams might say that. I mean, you think of John.
It reminds me of these recruiting services that see football players in shorts and T-shirts and then move them from 3 stars to 5 stars. Or if you don't go to one of their camps, you go from a 5-star to a 4-star. Hello, George McIntyre.
Do you think these services, Cinco, overrate certain classes because, say, that it's monetarily beneficial for them because they've got a lot of subscribers from one school or not? You think that sort of thing goes on as well?
Oh, it was proven that did happen back in the day. There was a assistant coach at one of our main competitors, third Saturday in October, and we'll just say his initials were Ronnie C. And it was absolutely shown that favoritism was given to schools like that to draw up more and more subscribers. So you don't have to question it. It's already been shown to have happened.
What happened to Ronnie Kittrell? I haven't heard his name in forever.
Don't know, but there was a whole thing. I think, in fact, the person in the industry may be still in there, but you don't have to guess about whether that's happened before. That's, I told you the story of a friend of mine. I won't say the name. A friend of mine coming out of high school was presented okay, so if you're a parent, you remember when your kids were in school, you were offered a number of packages for photographs.
Yep.
You could get this many 8x10s, this many for this amount. You could get this many for this amount. Yep. Whatever package you wanted came with a different price. My buddy was, and he showed me, my buddy was presented a number of different options about how you couldn't buy a 5-star rating or they used to call it 10.0.
Yep.
You couldn't buy a rating, but you could increase your rating. You could you could have a picture in their newsletter. It's a more detailed. You could a la carte how you wanted to be presented. Those things absolutely happened.
I sit here, right, and I'm looking at On3, okay, the football team rankings for recruiting right now, and they have Tennessee at 11 right now, and then I pop over to 247. And I'm looking at their team rankings. I'm just going to compare here because I'm just trying to get a feel for this. Both those services have Texas up there, and both of them now have Tennessee 11. 247 a couple weeks ago had the Vols in the 20s, but now they've jumped them to 11. So is Tennessee having, in your opinion, are they recruiting well enough, Sean? Is this well enough for you at this point?
I have concerns because if you are 11th, but second or third in your conference, I think that's telling. But if you're 11th in the country and rolling in at 8, you're barely in the top half of your conference.
Yeah, let me look
and
at
then
that.
And then when you seemingly have a lack of interest in supplementing that through the portal,
yes,
I don't. There's no waiver wire in college football. There's no picking guys free agents. I'm not. You said earlier in the week, where are the playmakers? I can't find them either.
There are 7 teams ahead of us.
I'm concerned. I'm no expert, but I've been watching this for over 30 years. Spent 3 years working in the recruiting office at UT. I have a at least a surface level understanding of how this stuff works. And I'm a little bit wondering what's going on.
Exie is working on a special story for us for the blog, and he's heartily concerned. He says he can't figure out what's going on, the juice around it, or the lack thereof. But I thought I'd run that by you. The basketball team, look, we give things an honest look here. Mark Griffin's going to join the good, the bad, and the ugly with the basketball team. When we continue, Mark Griffin joins the fray. Watson Brown later on in the hour. Some landmark stuff going on that we haven't talked about yet. I was waiting for Watson to get here to discuss it, particularly with Wisconsin filing a lawsuit against Miami for tampering. Will this stop the rating of these teams with each other's rosters, or did Miami get sloppy? We'll talk about it with Watson Brown, and that'll be later on in the hour. And then Greg Madia coming up, top of next hour, a preview of Henry Blanco, and perhaps a pitcher that Tennessee's poaching around on. And I will tell you this. With Watson Brown, and that'll be later on in the hour. And then Greg Madia coming up, top of next hour, a preview of Henry Blanco, and perhaps a pitcher